Welcome, welcome everyone. This is my Aries archetype, understanding the ego video.
Tell me how to think.
Hi there, it's Heather with Underwater Panther. Today I am going to attempt to make a coherent, organized, creative video about the Aries archetype. I am mixing psychology with astrology. This is so exciting. I haven't actually seen anything else like this out there before, so I hope you enjoy it. I am utilizing the 4 sides of the mind theory introduced to me by C.S. Joseph on YouTube. Feel free to check Joseph out on his YouTube channel. You can spend years in his content. It is amazing stuff. Here is a little overview of my notes on the 4 sides of the mind theory. This is actually a page from my book. Feel free to screenshot any of these notes so you can get a better understanding. And here's just an example of a chart that I've been working on. I am a perfectionist, so I have that failure to launch syndrome. So I do have tons of notes, and I will try to get through all the information as quickly as I can. A little bit more about myself. I am a Pisces sun. My birthday is actually in like 5 or 6 days, March 2nd. I have been in my, it's an INFJ Sage Pisces, So here's a snapshot of what is going on in my 4 sides of the mind as an INFJ Pisces ego. This is a snapshot from my astrological chart. I am focusing mainly on the sun sign as the ego, the moon sign as the subconscious, and then the ascendant or rising sign as the superego. And I sprinkle in a little bit of Mars and Saturn in the unconscious. And something else to be aware of is how our Mercury really overarcs all of those energies, as it is our thinking and communication. So when I combine the two together, I am sticking with the 4 sides of the mind theory for the ego, but then astrologically I let the signs fall where they may in whichever slot. It is really fun being able to cross-reference psychology with astrology, and they are really great tools to utilize within our relationships and our own goals with ourselves. So I very, very much align and feel everything I'm about to tell you with this Aries psychology. So you are not alone. Anyways, I hope you enjoy. Push the like button and subscribe if you like my information, and thank you in advance. I'm going to start off with a few keywords that really encompasses Aries as an archetype. Intent, passion, self-motivation, desire, pioneer, explorer, combative, freedom fighter, defender, wants to fight for a cause, rescuer, worthy opponent, daredevil, adventurer, newborn innocence, childlike and playful, interpersonal, examiner, scholar, craftsman, ramrod, impulsive, thrill-seeking, notorious for burning the candle at both ends, reactionary, all about the moment, quickest responding and tactical than any other type, spontaneous, expressive, and theatrical, fast walker, driver, and talker. Aries is forceful and more domineering. Aries rules the head, so Aries has to be ahead of things so it can control what's coming behind it. They won't put themselves in a situation until they know they're ahead or how to get ahead. Contrary to how everyone always says, they just leap without looking all the time. This seems this way due to their quick thinking and their use of keen intuition and the massive amounts of passionate fuel they have. I want to do a quick disclaimer before I go any further. Know that there are many different subtypes of Aries, and they can be focused on certain aspects, for example, shadow-based. Just know that this isn't an exact science, and most everything falls on a spectrum. There are really so many different factors that contribute to our psychological makeup, environment, genetics, traumas, just all kinds of things. So do take that into consideration. Aries season starts March 21st through April 19th. The symbol is the ram. Your ruling planet is Mars. Created by the first house, element fire, mode cardinal, keyword assert. We are about to get into each one of these sections right after this. The 4 cardinal signs are at the first month of each season. Cardinal signs are the most assertive, the most interested in initiating change. Their mode of activity is to start new things. They easily begin things and respond well to new ideas. They are self-starters. Crisis motivates them. They achieve control by remaining one step ahead of everyone else. Aries seeks leadership and control in general. Cancer controls emotions, home, and family. Libra tries to control partnerships. Capricorn controls, uses, and exploits the material environment. Cardinal signs are ambitious, action takers who tend to be extremely self-motivated. They're natural-born leaders. They're extremely passionate about the things they set out to do. They can be impulsive and restless. They have an energetic, enthusiastic nature. Aries truly is the baby of the zodiac, as you are the first sign of 12, and you embody spring. And the way that you do that is to embody birth from the infant's point of view. It is an awe-inspiring, adventurous, and newness type of feeling. You are childlike, innocence, and you throw yourself into unknowns. You have courage while doing so and hope. You're open to trying new things. You won't accept defeat, and you do want to always be first. And as the baby, I like to say Aries is like a high chair tyrant. And this is because you can be so damn stuck in your own feelings, you are unaware of anyone else's thoughts or feelings. Your element is fire. The fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Fire signs respond to energy very quickly. They favor action. They're ready to go, take a risk, start a business, go on a trip. They are confident, idealistic, intense, and approach life with zest and enthusiasm. Here is energy to conquer, lead, and travel physically and mentally. Aries must act, Leo must lead grandly, and Sagittarius explores unknown places and ideas. Aries, or the ESTP, leads with a masculine energy that is dynamic and outgoing. And how we figure that out is the first function in your ego stack, which is extroverted sensing. Here are some masculine energy processes, including logical thought, mind, decisive action, risk-taking, achieving, controlling, competitive, intellectual, and giving. Masculine energy is considered yang, and feminine energy is considered yin. We all have both energies within us, but we tend to lead with one or the other. Masculine or yang polarity is also known as extraversion. This is a state of primarily obtaining gratification from outside of oneself. Extroverts tend to enjoy human interactions and to be enthusiastic, talkative, assertive, and gregarious. Extroverts are energized and thrive off of being around other people. They take pleasure in activities that involve large social gatherings, such as parties, community activities, public demonstrations, and business or political groups. They also tend to work well in groups. An extroverted person is likely to enjoy time spent with people and find less reward in time spent alone. They tend to be energized when around other people, and they are more prone to boredom when they are by themselves. Aries likes to take everything from the inside and expresses it. First house energy revolves around and created Aries. The I am The first house rules early childhood, how we develop, who you are becoming, your approach to life, how you realize your best self and highest potential, the process of becoming a unique individual. Delivering that to the world is the greatest contribution. Our distinct qualities, which is our personality. The first house represents the sum total of one's being, inwardly and outwardly, including the physical body, appearance, and how we present ourselves. It represents our personal issues and personal affairs, all things dealing with the I am, personal people, things that you know and have, in personal locations that you go, and you are able to read body language very well. The sun, or the ego, is most likely not projected onto others, but protects us. It consists of the hero, the parent, the child, and inferior cognitive functions. It's the personality's boss, who you are becoming, driving character. It's conscious of our minds about 10%. The sun sign guides your personality, characters, essential qualities, and actions and skill development, professional career, competition, all forms of social interactions, the ego, creativity, and logic. The ego or sun sign is the conscious part of your personality where your common sense and reasoning lives, and allows you to organize your thoughts and use them to make judgments on the external world. Your id and superego battle to influence your decisions, while the ego is objectively looking at the situation. This sign is your uniqueness and potential mastery. It represents your approach and overall nature in this life. We identify with it strongly and have the potential to live consciously through personal and spiritual growth, development, fine-tuning, and integration. This is your strongest, when healthy, cognitive function. The ego is your autopilot and most conscious, although still pretty unconscious flow state, let's be real. It operates mainly in conscious and pre-conscious levels, but also has elements of unconscious because the ego evolved from the id. Our main goal is to become who we truly are through individuation. Our personality formation comes through struggle, suffering, and sacrifice through courage. When the sun or ego is asleep, it's egotistical. When it's waking up, you're becoming self-aware. And when it's awake, you are in goodwill. Okay, so now we're going to add in some psychology with the astrology. The ESTP is direct, initiating, control, interaction style. Their temperament is concrete, pragmatic, and interest-based. They like to test the rules, test traditions, live in the moment, and have a mechanical aptitude. An ESTP or persuader leads with extroverted, sensing, thinking, and perceiving. We're only going to be diving into the ego, which focuses on the extroverted sensing, introverted thinking, extroverted feeling, and introverted intuition. The subconscious is the INFJ or sage. The unconscious is the ISTJ or examiner. And the superego is the ENFP or advocate. Some key ESTP characteristics within their strengths: they are gregarious, funny, and energetic, influential and persuasive, action-oriented, adaptable and resourceful, observant. Within their weaknesses, they are impulsive, competitive, dramatic at times, easily bored, and insensitive. They make decisions quickly when confronted by problems. People with this personality type quickly look at the facts and devise an immediate solution. They tend to improvise rather than spend a great deal of time planning. They prefer the practical over the abstract. They don't have a lot of use for abstract theories or concepts. They are more practical, preferring straightforward information that they can think about rationally and act upon immediately. They are very observant, often picking up on details that other people never notice. Other people sometimes describe them as fast talkers who are highly persuasive. In social settings, they often seem like they are a few steps ahead of the conversation. They are not planners. They react in the moment and can often be quite impulsive or even risk-taking. This leap before they look attitude can be problematic at times, and it may lead them to say or do things they wish they could take back. In some instances, people with this personality type can veer into reckless behavior. In most cases, however, ESTPs act quickly based on their impressions and logic. They are outgoing, people-pleasing, humanitarian. They seek connections, reality-focused, sensation-seeking, high energy, action-oriented, highly disciplined, and very observant. ESTPs can be judgmental, impatient, and bold. They have a great talent for reading people and knowing where they're at by just watching their behavior and mannerisms. They have a competitive flair, which drives them to win out in difficult situations. ESTPs love to have the odds stacked against them, which makes them great troubleshooters, or the type of salespeople who can cold canvas a winning deal from the hardest client. They have a mental toughness, which makes them extremely hard to beat in any contest. The ESTP will almost always be the last man standing. They have a strong get-after-it mentality that causes them to get things done. They have a special talent for showing others how to make the most of situations. Such ESTPs can be extraordinary teachers of positive life skills. They have a knack for showing not only how certain things can be done, but how they can be done in a far more valuable or efficient way. Such ESTPs are an asset to any company involved in manufacturing. They may be unwilling or unable to plan anything in advance or to follow others' careful plans. They can be overconfident of their own cunning or ability, ignoring problems which eventually catch up with them on their blind side. They may find it difficult or be actually unwilling to follow through where an ongoing commitment is expected. In relationship situations, they can be overbearing, demanding, and or uncaring of the feelings of their partner. They may become so engrossed in challenging activities that they lose all sense of proportion, neglecting themselves and their relationships. Without challenges of their own, they may become focused on the behavior of others, particularly that of family or employees, insisting that they live up to what the ESTP sees as the proper code or level of accomplishment. Now that we have talked about the ESTP and Aries keywords, the cardinal modality, the spring representation, the fire element, extraversion, right dominant brain use, the first house or I am, and the cognitive attitude of the ego psychologically, we will go over a short disclaimer and then explain how your temperament determines your place in the world. I will then explain the hero cognitive function and how it is the right thing to do with a Mars and extroverted sensing influence, and then I will explain the parent cognitive function and how it is exalted with a Sun and introverted thinking influence. And then the child cognitive function is in detriment with a Venus and extroverted feeling influence, and then the inferior cognitive function, which is your fall, and that has a Saturn and introverted intuition influence. So disclaimer, cognitive transitions are dynamic, not static, so we don't exactly stay in our hero ego function or any of the other functions. It is a dynamic energy and how they work. They're always working together. Cognitive transitions have a positive and negative way of transitioning to each side of the mind. The narrow way is orderly and mentally harder to achieve, like taking the long or meaningful path. That determines how you find your place in the world. Overview of temperament. Temperament is a configuration of observable personality traits, such as habits of communication, patterns of action, and sets of characteristics, attitudes, values, and talents. It also encompasses personal needs, the kinds of attributions that individuals make in the workplace, and the roles they play in society. Each temperament has its own unique qualities and shortcomings, strengths, and challenges. Dr. David Kersey has identified humankind's 4 basic temperaments as the Artisan, the Guardian, the Idealist, and the Rational. There are 3 axes to this temperament theory stemming from Carl Jung, Isabel Myers of Myers and Briggs, and to David Kersey and Linda Behrens. Carl Jung believed there were multiple factors that contribute to our behavior, unlike Freud. Jung separated from Freudian theory, rejecting Freud's emphasis on sex as a source of behavior motivation. Jung broke from psychodynamic theories and formed his own theory called analytical psychology. Freud believed that psychological problems were the result of conflict between unconscious desires with an emphasis on sexual desires. The first axis of distinction in temperament in language use is abstract versus concrete. The ESTP personality or Aries zodiac leads with concrete, which is extroverted sensing. If your lead or parent function is SE or SI, you are concrete. If you are more concrete by nature, you will more often think and talk about tangible realities backed up by sensory observations. Your free thought time is likely filled with reviewing events, facts, images, memories, and how things look, feel, taste, and sound. And that was said by David Kersey. The second axis of temperament is affiliative versus pragmatic, and this is your actions. Aries or the ESTP leads with pragmatic. People expressing pragmatic tend to go after what they want in the most effective ways possible, and they choose tools that promise success with minimum cost and effort, whether or not they observe the social rules. Some people act primarily in a pragmatic manner, that is, they do what gets results, what achieves their objectives as effectively or efficiently as possible, and only afterwards do they check to see if they are observing the rules or going through proper channels. Pragmatic rules require that individuals act in accordance with what they see needs to be done to get the desired result. They too may be people or task focused. They too may be practical or idealistic. When a decision needs to be made or an action needs to be taken, their first inclination is to act more independently, regardless of norms or consensus. The final axis of temperament concerns where people focus their attention. Structure versus motive, or systematic versus interest, according to C.S. Joseph's diagram I've referred to multiple times. On the one hand, people who focus on motive are concerned with why people choose to act or what they have to gain, while people who focus on structure are more interested in rules and principles. Aries or the ESTP leads with motive and is concerned with why people do things. They tend to notice or refer to what's in it for the other person or themselves. Aries or the ST is more comfortable when others' motives are clear and to detect the purpose behind a behavior and missing pieces of the content of communication. So all those three together, the concrete, pragmatic, and motive, represents the Artisan Temperament. The Artisan Temperament wants the freedom to choose the next action. They seek to have big impact to get results. They are absorbed in the action of the moment, are oriented toward the present. They seek adventure and stimulation. They hunger for spontaneity. They trust their impulses, and they have luck in their ability to solve any problem they run into. They are gifted tacticians, deciding the best move to make in the moment, the expedient action to take. The Artisan Temperament likes to test the rules, test traditions, live in the moment, and have a mechanical aptitude. They are very freedom-based, yet are structured and in charge. That does make them the odd man out of the direct types. They don't want to be in lead charge. They will go along with a system until their SE hero figures out everything that's going on. Then they want to start making changes. They want to test rules and realize holes and dumb aspects of any system they're thrown into. They end up having to take charge. They're prone to completely tearing down systems and will start building new ones. They take charge for a while and then hand it over to someone else. Thank you so much for watching my first Aries video. I really do hope you enjoyed that. Tune in next time to go over what is the hero cognitive function within Aries, and we will be talking about extroverted sensing and Mars and how that influences your primary cognitive function within your ego. Also, if you liked my video, please feel free to subscribe and like the video. Be on the lookout for new content. If you would like an astro-psychological interpretation of your natal chart, the links are below. They will send you to my landing page, and there you will see an introduction video as well as more information.